It's time for Penn State Open practice highlights. I'm Thomas Frank Carr. The Penn State Nittany Lions are 3-0 entering a Big Ten Showdown with cross-conference foe Iowa in the 2023 whiteout game. Penn State enters the game as the favorite, but the Hawkeyes present a significant challenge to the Nittany Lions almost every time these two teams play. We'll start with Drew Allar, obviously. How many different ways do I need to say that Drew Allar is very important to the Penn State football team? Iowa presents likely his hardest test yet. The traditional Hawkeyes approach is to suffocate the run and play disciplined and smart zone coverage behind that. Allar has shown through 3 games that he won't give up the football to the other team, with no turnovers and only 1 near interception on 88 passing attempts so far this season. But can he squeeze the ball into tight windows and over linebackers to get the big plays Penn State needs? The loss of wide receiver Trey Wallace before last week's game was a blow to the passing attack, meaning that Malik McClain had to step into a bigger role. If Wallace is back and the Penn State passing attack is at full strength, Allar will have a great chance to dissect the Iowa defense with his smart decision-making. If he can make big plays, it'll be a long night for Iowa. In front of him, the Penn State offensive line and running game came under scrutiny this week for not getting enough yardage against Illinois and lacking explosive plays throughout the season. But what goes on between the tackles is hard to understand for most. For example, center Hunter Norzad was named the offensive MVP for last week's game thanks to his work in the run game and getting to the second level. As an interesting side note, Iowa is the first 4-3 defense that Penn State has seen this year. While the challenge of blocking strong, technically sound defensive tackles is the same as last week, we could see a different emphasis in the run game based on the 4-down front they're facing. The Penn State defensive ends got after it last week despite what you might have thought. The lack of sacks and the preseason fanfare that most promised haven't shown up just yet. But starters Adisa Isaac and Chop Robinson combined for 10 pressures last week, which led to 4 interceptions. While head coach James Franklin isn't into individual stats telling the whole story, here are some team-wide pressure stats that might show a more complete picture. Right now, Penn State's defense is top 10 in total pressures, pass rush win percentage, and pressure rate through 3 games. But the run defense is once again the focus of the upcoming game. Everyone knows Iowa's going to try and run the football. Your grandson knows that Iowa's going to try and run the football. Penn State's defense has gotten better each week at eliminating mistakes and controlling the line of scrimmage. If they can do that again this week, the defensive ends in secondary will be after it again. I'm Thomas Frank Carr. Those are Penn State practice highlights. Be sure to subscribe to Blue White Illustrated's YouTube channel so you don't miss them each week.